This episode is brought to you by regret and bad choices.
Are you ready?
Starting now?
Well, now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. Objects, I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
You know, but
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now. All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. I missed the high note that time. Another. Wait, let me start over. Another. I'll edit that out. Another. So I just real quick on that note, I figured out that it wasn't just the altitude in Albuquerque that's fucking with my sinuses.
Yeah.
It's the dryness, the lack of humidity. Because I'm still kind of stuffed up and stuff like that. And this is the most time, and I'm in Phoenix. If anyone is following along, but I think that this is the longest that I've ever spent in in an area that's had, you know, like really low and like dry humidity like that, or low humidity and dry air.
Right.
But it's not terrible. Only thing I'm going to say is I'm glad I'm here and not there. I'm glad I'm not in Wisconsin, and I'm glad I'm not going to be in Wisconsin next week because I still listen to the Milwaukee Morning Show. I know what's going on up there. So that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, the stuffiness had, I think it had something to do with the altitude because I had like a mild headache all week. But I'm stuffed up, and it's like fucking pissing me off. I'm like, God damn it.
All right.
But anyhow, so something we haven't done in a while.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by Zencastr.
Hi, Zencastr.
I started thinking about it, and you know, obviously we've been using it for a while, and I couldn't remember when it was. So I looked back, and June 1st was our first episode.
Okay.
I was in Branson. It was episode 119, and it was the Smirnoff free, but still yakking off, which one of my favorite titles, by the way. And so 7.5 months, 33 episodes of purely no issues, none whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
You know, so thank you, Zencastr, and I'm not going to say fuck you to Riverside, but you know, hey, you know, a little bit, because just because of the way that they blamed everything on us.
Right. You know? Yes, they didn't take personal responsibility, those dumb fucks.
Right. Yeah, and
don't they know how freeing that is?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, that was the biggest problem. I mean, I get it. Like we did that recording with the Sober Curator on Sunday.
Yeah,
which is no big deal. But they still use Riverside, and I was asking Tamara before. So it was like a handful of people on there. It wasn't that big of a deal, but it was recording through Riverside,
right?
And I just asked, I'm like, have you guys had any issues? She's like, no, you know, a couple of things here and there, nothing big, you know. And I noticed while we were recording though, a little bit with the, you know, kind of like the robotic, you know, with the voice every once in a while, you know, which we don't get anymore. You know, I mean,
we do not.
I hear minor ones every once in a while, and I think it's depending on where I am, because I'll get it like backfeed from you, but it never comes up on the recording, you know. So I don't know. It's just anyhow. I just wanted to, you know, say a heads up and a hello and a thank you.
Attaboy.
Yeah, attaboy, Zencastr. So fucking cool. You don't even need the E.
Right.
But no, obviously I know we have been very happy with this, and
Mm-hmm.
it's simple and it's fucking cheap. It's $20 a month. What the fuck? I
Right.
mean, it's nothing. So, all right, but yeah, that's all I got. I talked about my sinuses, the weather, Zencaster. Yeah, I got more, but
yeah, good, because I got nothing.
okay,
well, I got a couple things.
I was going to say the only thing that you really have to bring to it, because as you've identified yourself, and I'm going to say this with the biggest fucking air quotes I can have. Both my arms are air quoting. You've identified yourself as the talent,
right?
And that's all you got to do is that talent just shows up.
That's right.
You do bring a reading, and you usually look at who the, who it's whatever the background is of the fucking dude or lady that that wrote it.
This because I got nothing tonight, so we're gonna spin the big wheel and see what the fuck happens.
You know what? I quite honestly, and I've said this before, you've done that a handful of times, and number one, none of the readings are bad. That's number one. But a lot of times we end up with a reading that, for whatever reason, it just I don't know.
Yeah.
It has something to do with whatever, with something.
Way to build expectations.
It has something to do with something. There you go. How's that?
Well, that will I will guarantee it will have something to do with something.
That should be our tagline for our podcast. It'll have something to do with something.
Right.
I think I'm going to use that when I do the upcoming guest this week. What are we going to talk about? I don't know. It'll have something to do with something. So okay. All right.
Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Let me spin the wheel here.
Dick.
All right. Well, what we got here? Shit. If I could see. Wow, it's been a long week. We'll get into all that later.
Wait, welcome to two old guys doing a podcast. One's talking about his sinuses, one can't find his glasses.
Well, the glasses are on my face. I just can't fucking see. All right, June 17th is where the big wheel stopped. So here we go. Each day provides its own gifts. Ruth D. Friedman. I have no idea because here we go. This is from Keep It Simple, by the way. All right, here, let's see. Life is full of wonderful gifts. Recovery is life's greatest gift to us. If we're not excited about being sober, we need to check on ourselves. Are we keeping something secret? Is there a sadness we need to talk about? Are we stuffing anger? These things eat away at our excitement for life. Many addicts never get the gift of recovery. Those of us in recovery are special. We have been given a new life. There will be hard times, but the joy of getting a second chance will be stronger. Am I grateful that I've been given recovery? Prayer for the day. Higher power, help me see recovery as a gift. I deserve this gift because I am human. Help me to always accept this gift. Action for the day. At the end of the day, I will list 3 gifts that the day has given me.
Well, I'm wondering, I mean, do you have any? Let's start with that, Mike.
All right.
How was your day? And I've got a pen handy here. Let's start out with the 3 gifts of your day. Go ahead, start.
Let's see. Well, work is done. That's a fucking gift.
Yeah, that always works.
It was actually above freezing here today, and the sun was out, so that was that was nice.
Right.
Let's see, a third one. Pizza was pretty fucking good tonight.
That's 3. That works.
3. Yeah.
So, and if I was actually, when you were reading that off, I thought about my pizza because well, well, I don't know if everyone remembers. I don't expect everyone to remember our lives, but we have pizza every night. I think most people know that if you've listened.
Every Friday night, not
Did I
every
say,
night.
did I say every night? Sorry.
You did.
We have.
We are
welcome to
Ninja Turtles.
welcome to old guy doesn't know what he just said. Wait, what did I say? Okay, so every Friday night,
Yes.
we have pizza. And Mike and I have been eating Domino's pizza for God, wow, now 8 years, 7, 8 years, something like that.
Well, I started when I moved into the house, so like 5.5 years ago.
Yeah, and I think I started it, probably after I moved to actually, you know what, probably same month, 5, 6 years, something like that. After a couple years when I lived in Germantown, I was driving back and forth up to Little Caesars, and then they
Right.
just started fucking up the pizza and it was pissing me off. But speaking of that, that's the point. All these, I could go to the same place or all these different places I go to,
Mhm.
and sometimes I'm shocked. I'm like, this pizza's fucking wonderful, and then you
Right.
look at it and you're like, okay, well, I'm not going to go hungry.
Right.
But tonight the pizza was really good, so that's
Mhm.
one of my gifts. I'm just gonna say yes, it was above freezing here today also, and the sun and the sun was shining. Okay,
Ah,
and another gift? Nobody. I didn't get pissed off at work.
that's good.
Yeah, it was one of those days. It was actually a smooth-ish day from a work standpoint. And
Hmm.
the other let's go for that was half, and then the other half is I don't have to pack up my shit tonight and go anywhere. I'm here for another week.
Yeah, right.
Because sometimes I don't mind the weekly trips like that. It's kind
Mhm.
of different changes of pace and or place and pace. But sometimes it's just like it's nice just not having to pack all my shit up and leave again. So
Right. Yeah. You don't have to put that bandana on the end of the stick and
yeah, I should do that. Wrap a fucking bandana around my car. Just put a big old stick hanging off the back of it because that's my pack of stuff, is my
Yep.
is my car. But oh god, there's fucking pigeons around here. There's pigeons that sit up like right on the I don't know, under the awning on the porch. It's like a pole overhang type of thing, and then
Mhm.
these cement posts, basically, but bigger ones, and they sit up on top. They've got clearly they must be a problem around here because they got these little things all around areas where they could go, but that's one area where it looks like almost like little spikes they put up there so
Yeah,
birds can't
right.
land.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, I didn't see it when I first got here, and I got fucking not. I didn't get dive bombed. They were trying to fly out of there. It was just I walked up, so now I know. But I mean, they're just in. They fly out. They fly over my car. I've got shit on my car. I got fucking leaves all over my car. I'm like, oh my god.
There's a
But
gift.
yeah, there's a gift. The birds have gifted their feces on my vehicle. But well, at least we came up with a few. And on top of that too, that we missed the biggest one. We woke up. Well, two. We woke up,
Right.
and we woke up sober.
Yes, we did.
You
And
know,
so far at whatever time it is there, and here it's it's 7:41. Been sober all day.
yeah. I mean, you get look at that. You've been sober longer than me.
Ooh.
You got 2 hours on me there, brother.
Right.
That's the old thing. We've talked about that too. But okay, so we got our gifts. I almost said we got our gifts out of the way. Fuck these things. Let's get on with real life.
Right.
But so the reading, and I like that. I mean, I do like the fact that, and I agree with the fact of how everything was in there. Speaking of and looking at, and just taking recovery. I think we should. And one part of it in there was said that people don't. Wasn't it something along the lines that said people don't get the full point of recovery if they don't take it as a gift, something like that, which I thought was interesting. But
Right.
because it is. I mean, in recovery is the greatest gift to people like us, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, clearly we've said it 1,000 times, without recovery, without sobriety, we have nothing.
Yeah, we would literally be nothing because
Mhm.
I think we made it pretty goddamn clear that neither
Yeah.
one of us. There's no way that we'd be running out here at 14 plus years from that time. Yeah, it
Yeah.
just wouldn't
Right.
have.
We'd
I
be
wouldn't
dead.
have wouldn't have made it 14. Wouldn't have made it 14 weeks. I don't
No.
think so.
Yeah.
But it talked about stuffing anger. Obviously, that could be hugely problematic.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll jump back to that in a minute. But the one I wanted to kind of focus on for a second was it said we deserve this gift because we are humans, and
Uh-huh.
we've talked about that before, that whole deserving thing. So how do you
Mhm.
feel about that sentence?
I personally don't like it.
Right.
I clearly one of my character defects that I don't have anymore. Well, I don't have much of anymore. Always going to have a little. Is entitlement,
Right.
right? I'm not entitled to fucking shit. Uh, I'm entitled to pain and misery, and yeah. And I'm not entitled to that either. I'm not entitled to anything. Everything that I have, I earn.
Right.
And that's good. That's right. Along with recovery, I've earned this. I've worked at it, and I continue to work at it, and I've earned it. If I didn't work at it, I wouldn't have it, and I know that.
Right.
So yeah, no, I'm not entitled to anything. This gift I am due because I am human is bullshit. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, when I heard that line, because you and I talked about the deserving, just the word and the concept of anything, deserving anything,
Mhm.
and it is. We always talk about the same exact thing, which I think is worth repeating. Is like you just said, entitled, the gimme, the I'm here. I deserve
Yes.
a participation trophy.
Mhm.
No, you don't.
Nope.
And just because it goes back to even in the simplest of senses when it comes to this whole thing. So somebody walks into or just decides, hey, I'm going to enter recovery. I'm going to take this booze or this bag of drugs and I'm going to put it down. I'm not
Mhm.
doing any of this anymore. So I deserve everything now because I'm no longer
Right.
no longer an active participant in these things I just placed on the
Mhm.
table.
Right.
Bullshit.
Exactly.
Fucking bullshit. Because now that's perfect. Okay, just changing your breath, putting down the bag, whatever the case is,
Yeah.
putting down the needle. That's a wonderful start, and you can't
Yes.
you can't do this thing without doing that part.
Of course.
At least not right.
Mhm.
um, but I like the fact that you said that that earning it. And I think we've talked about the fact of we're rewarded with we're
Mhm.
given something, but basically by doing the work we obtain something. We're not given anything, we obtain
Right.
it, based
Yes.
on the work that we do, right?
Exactly. And like we've said plenty of times, it's like happiness, man. It's a byproduct. It's all a byproduct. It's not a goal. It's not why I'm doing this. It's just it's a wonderful thing that happens because I'm doing the next right thing. And like I said, there's life gets hard and there's, negative stuff happens and whatever. That's part of life too. But thankfully we can deal with it because we have these tools that we were given to deal with it without medicating ourselves
Right.
and taking it out on the people around us.
You know what? And that's a great fucking point too. Is that I mean, there's one thing with having tools to deal with the anger, but as long, I
Mm,
mean, yeah, when you just said don't take it out on somebody else. Well, I'm
hmm.
not drinking. I'm dealing with life, but I'm taking
Right.
it out on this person. I'm being a dick to
Still
that
a
person.
raging asshole.
Yeah, just in a different way. I'm not
Right.
drowning myself in booze or filling myself with some sort of drug, but yeah, I'm making somebody else's life miserable. So yeah, that's a
Mhm.
that's a good point. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the tools are hugely important, and that is. I mean, it's these things. Once again, we earn them based on the work, on the physical actions that we take all day, every day. And we don't necessarily have to be, it's not like, building a house or anything like that. Some of these things are
Hmm.
done, quietly and basically in our minds. And,
Yep.
these are just these little things that we do that build our own foundations, or maybe not, at the end of the day, I don't have like a physical project I can hold up and say, look at this.
Right.
I built this today. Unless I just want to go, run my hands down the front of me, kind of in front of like, here I am, ta-da! Look what I built today.
Right.
I built myself.
Mm.
But stopping anger, I think, is an important one because, I mean, I've talked about that. I mean, I always had a quick fuse, and then it got to be a quick and basically volatile reactions to
Hmm.
things.
Right.
When I was younger, I had no control, and honestly,
Mm.
and Derek, no offense, if you happen to be listening to this, but when you were, your little 3, 4, and 5-year-old self, I mean, he had no idea how to deal with this bottled up shit inside of him. He
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like a messed up kid. He just had
Right.
all this emotion and this strong willed type of human being is niche stuff in him.
Right.
And it's just if something happened, he would cry or he'd throw a fit or whatever it is
Mm-hmm.
because he didn't know how to deal with it, you know.
Right.
But then the other thing is that as we get older, you know, and like as you and I got into this whole addiction cycle, I mean, obviously, I only say obviously, I blew up quite a bit, but I also let a lot of things stew. I think you did
Mm-hmm.
the same thing. Yes.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, again, to give yourself some fuel to have an excuse to get loaded, so you are justified, righteous in
Right.
your fucked upness. Right.
Righteous in your fucked upness. I think I could
Yeah.
fucked up. How do you spell that? Fucked upness. There we go. Two
Yeah.
S's.
Sure. 3.
3. But yeah, and then usually what happened is I would let all these things fester and stew,
Mm-hmm.
and then somebody would I'd end up blowing up on somebody.
Right.
And I mean, I think there happens to be health risks, I believe, also. Probably studied and whatever. I don't think it's a good thing on your brain or your body to to stuff all that anger, because again, it's just it's anxiety and it's stress and it's all those different
Mm-hmm.
things. But and there is the things, two of the things that we go after all the time, and that we, well, not go after, but end up with, are peace and serenity, which you sure as
Right.
fuck don't get when you're stuffing your anger, right?
Exactly. Right. And thankfully I have a job where I get millions of little microbursts of anger all day long. So look at this asshole. Look at this dumb fuck. Right. Fucker another one cut me off. Yay. Right. But it does. I certainly don't stuff anything. I let little tiny bursts out. And, at the end of the day, I'm tired and satisfied and sitting in my house where no one's causing me to be angry, and then and it feels pretty damn good. There's nothing stuffed in there festering, and now it just doesn't happen anymore.
Right. Well,
I get, if something pisses me off, I express it, not in a bad way, but if I'm in a truck by myself, and I'll express it in a bad way, but I get it the fuck out is kind of my point. I don't stuff anything down. I don't let it fester, and then I move on. I don't dwell on it, which is a wonderful gift from this thing. I don't, it's, hey, it happened. Okay, that pissed me off, and next. Now this next moment isn't pissing me off. Isn't that wonderful?
Right. Yeah. Well, you always say that. I mean, nothing lasts. It's
Nope.
that you can only deal with what's happening right now, and the next moment or two might be shitty, or the next moment or two might be fucking wonderful. But
Right.
what I was going to say, and basically, then at the end of the day, worst case scenario, we've got that opportunity to air that shit and clean our heads in the 10th step, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's
exactly. Go over it, and how did I really react? Did I really? Yes, I got angry there for a second, but did I hurt anyone over it? No, I just released that bit of anger and moved on.
right. Yeah, there's been times when I'll, again, you're in a car by yourself and something like that happens, and it's just like, "Arr, this motherfucker, blah blah blah."
Yep.
Then I'm like, wow, that was a little bit. I didn't need to be that animated about that,
Mm.
But again, I didn't hurt anyone,
Right.
I didn't affect anyone. Literally at that point, I didn't flip somebody off. I didn't throw something. I didn't try to cut somebody off back or anything like
Right.
that.
Exactly.
But I'm like, why did I even let that fucking idiot
Eh.
even get that much out of me?
Eh.
But again, I mean, if that's the worst that happens to me in a day or in a week, I think I'm doing okay.
Exactly.
But and I know we've talked about it, but it's been a long time. It's been a long time since since I've had anything in my 10th step, and whatever it was a handful of months ago. I think that again, it was a friend of mine that I didn't say anything nasty, but I felt that it was there was I think it was a text message or something like that, and I felt
Right.
after the fact that it was snotty, but that individual didn't take it that way. But it was one of those things where after I sent it, I'm like, I think part of the well, not part of the problem. The problem was I knew the tone in my head,
Sure.
and thankfully that didn't completely come across in the words in the text.
Hmm.
But then again, on the other hand, sometimes text messages or emails or
Right.
they could come off the wrong way when I'm happy as fuck and I say something
Yeah.
and they're like, well, what do you mean by that? I'm like, I read it again. I'm like, I meant nothing.
Right.
I meant zero.
Yeah.
It was a statement. It was a sentence. But that was the last time. And prior to that, I can't remember the last time when I've had to, thankfully, can't
Hmm.
remember when I've had to go back and try to make a correction after the fact. I'm not going to
Hmm.
say that I haven't said something or done
Of
something, and
course.
then that same moment or within a couple of minutes after, if the person's still around going, hey, you know what, I didn't mean to snap or whatever. And
Right.
again, 9 times out of 10, the person's like, I
Yeah.
think you did. And I'm
Right.
like, but you always say it. You're like, it doesn't matter. It's
Hmm.
how we feel. And, we need to, again, always keep our side of the street clean, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you were talking about that, sending a text or whatever, and it's actually one of the positives of social media. Like I'll see something and I have a wonderful thought to answer whatever the nonsense is that's going on. And I don't post, I don't comment, I sit there and go, this would be fucking wonderful, but all it's going to do is spread negativity. And so I move on. And it's again, it's one of the few good things about social media. It's like I've learned exercising that muscle that we talk about, doing that sort of thing. I exercise that muscle of just letting it fucking go and moving on, not engaging, not jumping into the fray, not stirring shit, which was one of my favorite things to do for a very, very long time in real life.
Right. Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, it's I, and it's social media, and I've even had it happen. You get into over the years, you get into like some sort of again, like I wouldn't say heated, but this
Mm.
let's call it that heated, text message with your message string with somebody, in the
Hmm.
same thing. Finally, you're like, what the fuck am I doing?
Right. Why am I
And,
wasting my time with
yeah,
this?
and it's just like, okay, thank you, and then person's like, rah, rah, rah.
Right.
And even in my drinking days, I mean, I every once in a while I would have this flash of wisdom that it takes two to argue, and it didn't matter who it
Right.
was with. It happened very rarely, prior to me getting sober. But when it did happen and I didn't engage, it was amazing. I
Mm.
never picked up on it. But then, once I get sober and stuff like that, whether it be because it would happen to Mom was a great example of that. I mean, mom had
Mm.
she had her ways. I love her to death, and we talked about our
Hmm.
mom a lot. But every once in a while, I mean, she was very kind and very compassionate, but also dipped on the edge of a generation that was non-filtered.
Right.
And I think that's a big part of it.
Hmm.
Because I don't think she was trying to be mean. It just sometimes that's the way that she was.
Right.
But she would say some shit that was just not very nice. It
Hmm.
wasn't, like, you motherfucker, you're a piece of shit.
Sure.
But I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna leave it.
Hmm.
I've said this a couple of times. I'm like, well, I just said to her, I'm like, that was inappropriate, unnecessary. That was not kind.
Right.
And I'm done with it. And she'd just be like, oh, yeah, that's but anything like that, it is taking the high road is really fucking difficult.
Hmm.
But go back to the tools that we were
Yep.
given. We've had the tools and the training and years of practice, if nothing else. But on top of that, watching people and learning from people.
Hmm.
What the positives can be from shutting our fucking mouths every once in a while.
Yep.
Even though it's a lot of fun to verbally spar with people every once in
Oh,
a while, and
sure.
I hate the fact that it is so fun.
Hmm.
Or can be
It
so
is,
fun.
but right, but it's cheap.
Right.
Like you said, taking the high road is difficult, but anything good generally is difficult. And yes, and the results of it are much better than stirring shit.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, and it is, and it just yeah, it's just not worth it. And
Mm-mm.
if nothing else, I mean, from a selfish standpoint, I don't, because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to get myself all lit up, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just it's the same thing. Having a resentment against somebody is like feeding yourself poison and, hoping for them to fucking fall over and die.
Yep.
And that's really what it comes down to, is it doesn't matter how wonderful my statement was. Sooner or later, I
Right.
mean, I'm going to end up still fucking stewing about it,
Mhm.
and it's all it's going to do is fucking hurt me.
Right.
So from a selfish standpoint, it's better for me just not to even get, not to engage, not to even get involved with all that fucking shit,
Mhm. There's a gift.
That is a gift, right?
It is.
So anything else, any other gifts, anything else from the reading, anything like that?
No. Yeah, like I said, that was totally opening the book, pointing at a page, and reading it. So
Right.
there it was.
And I honestly, I think it was a good one. I think it had a lot to do with a lot of things.
Hmm.
It had something. It had definitely had something to do with something.
It did.
All right, so just real quick, and I'm sure you heard about this, but I never thought I'd be able to use this sound effect, and actually for a reason. So you ready?
All right.
Bob
Charge.
Bob Uecker died.
Yeah, I know.
Which I mean, I know you're a baseball guy. I mean, I know you know who
Right.
he is. I don't know.
Hmm.
I think it'd be hard. I'm not going to say everyone knows who
Well, I'm
he
an
is, but
alcoholic too. They had some wonderful beer commercials.
right. They were talking about him on the morning show. But again,
I
I mean,
bet.
he
Right.
was a Milwaukee guy. I mean,
Yeah. Right.
around Milwaukee for years and years and years. And
Well, he
um,
called Brewers games for 54 fucking years.
it was 57. I
Was
think.
it? I heard 54. Couple
I could
places.
be wrong. I could be wrong. Whether it was, let's go with it, because the same thing. It's not worth it for me to try to argue.
Right. Over 50 years.
Oh yeah, and that clearly, because I was thinking that either way, they talked about it and they said 50 something. I could have heard it wrong, so
Yeah.
I'm going to give you
Yeah.
that one.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, he was I mean, obviously a Milwaukee legend. I mean,
Mhm.
he was in movie and TV shows. I forgot
Sure.
about Mr. Belvedere that he was in.
Right.
Obviously, he was in Major League.
Right.
I was at his house once years ago.
Really?
Not in his house. Okay,
Okay.
I was at.
Okay.
So he lived in Menominee Falls, where we went to that Greek family restaurant. That's
Yeah.
Menominee Falls, and then Dawn and I
Right.
lived there. From where we were, 2-3 miles south, there's a really nice subdivision along
Mhm.
the golf course. There's a country club golf course. I
Right.
don't know if it's still North Hills, but that's what it used to be called. I don't know if he still lived there, up until the end. But
Mhm.
when I worked for True Green, the lawn care service, we used to do neighborhood marketing.
Right.
And so we ended up in that area. So basically, what we would do, we go around to current customers, and basically was trying to upsell them on tree service or this and that, blah blah blah. As people who had our
Mhm.
lawn service, then you'd visit them during the summer physically on the lawns. But his was one of the ones we were in his cul-de-sac, literally standing out in front of his house, and we're looking at our sheets. We're like, Jesus Christ, that's fucking Uke's house. And the other dude's like, really? I'm like, well, yeah, but really big fucking letters: do not solicit, do not knock on the door, do not go there.
Right.
So like, because I mean, I think Bob can figure out what he wanted,
Yeah.
but it wasn't a mansion. It was like, if you went into, I'm trying to even think, like take the subdivision that Mom was in. Okay,
Right.
so newer homes, probably about, I don't know if maybe we're that age, because I mean, shit, this would have been 20 years ago that I was there.
Mhm.
And then probably 1.5 to 2 times the size of the homes. Okay,
Right.
so that style,
Right.
but also they're golf course homes,
Mhm.
so nice area in Menominee Falls, and he lived there. I know he lived there for years.
Right.
But yeah, and they just said this morning, and I didn't know what he died of. I didn't know he was sick. Apparently, he had some form of lung cancer, from
Mhm.
from what they were saying, and even this past season, because he was calling games this year.
Yeah. Right.
He was, what, 2 weeks shy of fucking 91 or something like that.
Yeah.
But they said that, I guess he kind of kept that quiet, but he would go, do his treatments and then fucking head out to the ballpark.
Yeah.
And I guess whenever it was, handful of years ago, when he stopped, because he used to travel with the team.
Sure.
But when he stopped traveling with the team, I guess that he'd go out. They were just talking about that again this morning. He'd just go out to the ballpark and he'd, hang out with the grounds crew and stuff like that, and either listen to or watch the game. But he'd be at the ballpark every fucking time.
Right.
But the beer thing, and I completely forgot about the Miller Lite commercials
Right.
that he used to do.
Mhm.
So they were talking about this story that apparently there was this kid. I mean, again, probably 20, 25 years ago,
Mhm.
Make-A-Wish type of thing. The kid had some sort of rare form of cancer, ended up getting in remission, blah blah blah, this and that. But I mean, one of his things was he wanted to meet Bob Uecker,
Mhm.
and this kid had no idea how at what level Uecker was at the time.
Right.
So apparently he's in the booth with him, Hughes calling the game, doing the whole bit. And then I guess at one point when the microphones were off, he's like, "Hey kid, you want a beer?" He goes, "You want a light?" And the kid's like 9. And I mean, obviously he wasn't serious, but I mean it was just him. And that's what they were saying too. The whole Harry Doyle thing, Major League, was just
Right.
all that was Bob Uecker being Bob Uecker. Just they said,
Mhm.
minus the bottle of Jack Daniels, maybe.
Right. Maybe.
But yeah, it's one of those things that I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to even say. Obviously the man will be missed, but I mean,
Mhm.
fucking 90 years old and the type of
Right.
life that he led, and I don't know. Have you ever heard anything bad about Bob Uecker?
No.
Ever?
No. No.
I mean, it's like, okay, so to live a life like that, and literally, I mean, months ago he was doing what he loved. I mean,
Mhm.
almost up to the day he died. I mean, what the fuck else can you ask for out of life?
Not a damn thing.
Right. So, when you're 90 going on 91, you still want to be driving a truck, right? Is that's your
No. That is
yeah.
a job. That is not what that is not the love of my life.
I know. And if I'm sitting behind a fucking computer trying to collect money from small business scab, I'm gonna shoot myself at my
Yes.
desk. But no, I mean, I don't even know what would make me completely happy to be able to do, but it's not
Mhm.
this. I mean, yeah, this
Right.
literally the job that I do, and I've talked about it. Just I make enough money to do the things specifically. It's not even just oh, I'm paying my bills. No, I'm working this job so I could do the things I'm doing right fucking now.
Right.
And I don't know. It's not a bad job. We don't need to get into workspace or work things again. But I mean, God, he just lived and breathed baseball, and that's I don't
Yeah.
know, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and he was fucking good at it too. I mean, I listened to some games he called. I'd be
Right.
driving up there or whatever, just years and years ago. But yeah, it'd be a Brewers game on, and I'd put it on the radio and listen to you could call the fucking game, man. It was great.
Yeah. And there was God, it was when I was back when I was Ubering. So it was prior to obviously prior to the pandemic. So probably 2017, 18, 19, whatever it was. The Brewers were
Mm-hmm.
like I think they were that was that might have been the year that they made the run. They didn't go to the World Series. They were like one game away. Whatever it was. They
Mm.
were they were doing really well, and I listened
Right.
to I was out driving and listening to the game, and I heard the end of the game, and I don't listen to baseball games.
Right.
But I turned it on, and I hadn't listened to anything from him in years. And again, we're talking 5-6 years ago. So
Sure.
the dude's fucking 85,
Right.
and I'm like, he is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, just engaging it again. It's not that I don't like baseball. I'm just not
Mm-hmm.
into it. But I'm like literally on the edge of my car seat, listening to fucking you with a call and everything. I'm like right fucking there. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy's good.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I figured that you heard about it. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
anyone unless you lived under a rock, that you couldn't hear about him because he was.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, yeah, the funniest thing I saw on social media. I mean, I heard about it. That I was the next day. I'm flipping through Instagram or Facebook. I don't even know who fucking posted. I don't even know if it was one of my friends, followers, or whatever. But person's like, "Oh my God, Euchre died. He's been around my entire life," and I'm like,
Right.
"Oh my God, of course he has."
Of course.
He was fucking 90.
Right. Unless you're 100 fucking years old. Yes, he's been around your entire life.
Yeah, unless you're 92.
Right.
Or actually, unless you're 91 and older. But I'm like, it's just the stupidest fucking thing. Now, I get that. He's been a part of my life,
Mm-hmm.
since I was a kid. I get all that, but he's been around for my entire life. I was just like, oh, thank you. Thank you. Come again.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, so yeah, Mr. Euchre, yeah, I know he'll be missed. And yeah, it was just, I don't know. I felt remiss in not mentioning that. So
Right.
I would have felt remiss.
Yep.
All right. So, remember when I was talking about Camelback Mountain and I said I wasn't going to go on the big part so I wouldn't fall?
Right.
I fell twice.
Yeah.
This is so stupid. So I first got there, and I mean, first of all, I'm sure you saw the pictures. At least I'm guessing you did.
Mhm.
But this whole mountain, I mean, it's spectacular. It was a little bit cooler
Right.
that day. I was in the shade of the mountain most of the time, but it wasn't cold. But I had a long sleeve shirt on. It was pleasant, you know.
Mhm.
But I'm I just got there and I walk up this one part of the trail and I'm trying to figure out because I wanted to take this side, like the side trail that didn't the one part like went up to the left and actually went up and would climb up the fucking mountain. I was basically at the base of the mountain, went all the way along and then to this other side. Still just a nice walk. I mean, it was beautiful. Um, but there's an area where you got to walk down the stairs and then you got to walk up these other stairs. They're actual stairs. It's not like just a trail with like
Mhm.
whatever. And so I was taking a picture as I was walking up and I still had the phone in my hand and I started to walk forward and I tripped on something and fell. I mean, phone screen right down onto the like the gravel part on the stairs,
Mm.
like my almost my full weight. But the only thing that saved it is my knuckles were wrapped around the screen. And I'm like, you ever have like little pock marks from gravel, like cut on
Yeah.
your, yeah. So I had that. I still got a couple of them left, but I'm like, well, that fucking hurt. I've been here for 5 fucking minutes and I fell already.
Nice.
Like, it's just stupid. And then on the way back, back down, not in the same section, but walk the entire thing. And then it's this that whole area is kind of like this red dirt and kind of like pea gravel thing. It can be slippery if you're not paying attention, which clearly I wasn't because I stepped on
Mhm.
one part and did kind of what Kathy did when she broke her arm or whatever it was, her shoulder or wrist
Shoulder. Right.
yeah, and I slipped and like just right out from under me and down on my arm, and it hurt a little bit, but I mean, nothing wrong. So
Yeah.
apparently, I'm not breakable like she is, but I'm like, yeah, I gotta make a note of that because the fact that I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing the big mountain because I don't want to fall, and then I fucking fell.
Good.
Can't listen to you good. But I don't know. I mean, it was nice. It's nice around here. I really didn't get to kick around that much, but the place I'm staying is nice. It's a it's a 3-bedroom house. It's got a small bedroom upstairs and very very nice and quiet neighborhood too. No issues
Cool.
or anything like that. Nice, kind of like there's a lot of most of the yards have almost like they're like finished brick walls kind of around. That's the fence,
Mhm.
which is kind of weird, but I mean it when you think about it, I'm like, yeah, brick wall, but it looks nice. But I mean, it's like everyone seems to have these separated walls like that. But other than that, I mean, I didn't really get to kick around that much. I think on Sunday there was well, everyone was saying go to Sedona, do this and that, but that's fucking 2 hours away.
Right.
But there's another like a kind of a wilderness area, forest, mountain area, like I don't know, like an hour from here. So I don't know. On Sunday we might kick over there and go see that. But a couple of trails and whatever, just to get out and kind of see what's what. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's nice. I like it here. It is the weather has been nice, which is kind of a gift because as I head north up to Prescott. And I've been looking at the weather and even Amarillo and obviously Ozarks where I'm going to be.
Mhm.
It's all winter.
Yep.
It's not bad, but I'm like I guess I'll take advantage of for next week while I'm here. So,
Uh-huh.
but yeah. Other than that, the Lions play this weekend.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, that'll be a good game. So, all right, I was trying to fill a little bit of time before we took a break, but I could just ramble for another 4 minutes or something like that, or we could take a break if you want. It's up to you.
You know what? I think we will take a break.
All
So
right.
we'll be back with more of Something About Something right after these words from our sponsor.
Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober Not Mature.
Hi
And
there.
yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi Mike, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have 2 websites now. So we
Two?
wanted 2 websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website that is www.SoberNotMature.com. And we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's
Yes.
www.SoberNotMatureShop.com.
Ah.
But from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can
Right.
access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
At least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me, 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping, though. Okay, now I got to say www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. .com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is, again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
Did you just say sober but not mature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone. You've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right, everyone. Welcome back. Yes, let's start talking about something about, what did you say? Something about
something about something.
Something about someone and something about something. There you go. All right. I think I have some shit written down. So what do you think? Should I read some shit that I got written down?
Do something, because I got nothing.
All right. So this one I have Touchstones. This one came out of Touchstones. Some of us were treated badly. I've got in parentheses, let's take a journey back to our childhood. I don't know why I wrote this down, but let's see what that leads into. Everybody.
All right.
Some of us were treated badly as young boys and never learned how to live for ourselves. We can see only two choices, either be submissive or caretaking, or be abusive or demanding. So the reason I wrote that down, it was kind of, I don't know, kind of therapy-ish, which is not either one of our things.
Right.
But it started to make me think a little bit, because you and I both talked a little bit about our childhoods.
Right.
And even though neither one of us placed blame on where we came from, or anything like that, our environments for, who we are and why we drank and all those sort of things.
Right.
I just started to think if, it was interesting to me. So if nothing else, so some of us were treated badly as young, let's say, young people, young boys, and never learned how to live for ourselves. Do you think that's true at all? I mean, or do you feel you were more independent, or do you think that even if you don't, not the whole treated badly thing, but do you think you never really learned how to live for yourself at that time as a child, or?
I mean, I'm fucking alcoholic and a drug addict, man. All I did was live for myself. That was the problem.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I never learned to do anything for anybody else, again, the entitled and expected everyone to take care of me and blah, 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 blah. Even, my needs weren't being met. So God damn it, the world owes me. Yeah, that kind of bullshit. No, and never, I don't know, both of those options, either, being whatever, a caregiver, submissive,
submissive or caretaking.
Right. Or the other one to, try
abusive or demanding.
Right. Exactly. Well, demanding.
Abusive
definitely.
And demanding. I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah. Definitely demanding.
Right.
But, not necessarily abusive. I mean, sure, I'm an asshole, so that's abusive, but,
right.
But yeah, no, neither one of those. Yeah, selfish, self-centered. I'm going to fucking take care of myself and fuck everybody else. That's where it took me.
Right.
Yeah. I'm entitled, and I know I didn't get everything I fucking thought I deserved and demanded and whatever. So I'm going to continue to act like I deserve and demand everything. And yeah, idiot.
Right. Yeah, and maybe when I was looking at this, and now that I'm looking at a little bit more, learn how to live for ourselves. I mean, I'm wondering if I think that, I always thought to myself that I had everything under control and I was taking care of things or whatever, which I wasn't. I always
Right.
had to rely on somebody else. So that was one thing, kind of like what you had said too, where kind of taking from people and living off of people and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
But then the kind of submissive and caretaking, I think that I probably was a little bit more on that side of things as a kid, just based on I think a little bit how mom was, because I mean mom was a she's always kind of a strong individual.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like I think more of a people pleaser at that point.
Right.
But then as I got a little bit older, I think that that's when I turned into being more, obviously, if nothing else, verbally and mentally abusive and
Mm-hmm.
demanding of, there's a wonder why I have two ex-wives, right?
Right.
And then maybe that's why I wrote that, because the more I'm thinking, I'm looking at this, I'm like, what the fuck did I write this down? But that's why, because I had those little flashes in my head. But
Mm-hmm.
and I don't. Again, the only thing is the opening line. Some of us were treated badly as young boy. I don't necessarily blame it on that. I mean, yes, I mean we're a product of our environment to an extent, and blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah. And I don't know. I mean, I can't. I would never. Well, I did. It's not that I never blamed other people before, but I mean, once I, popped my head clearly out of my ass and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not going to look back and, oh, well, it's my dad's fault because he was an
Sure.
alcoholic and I
Right.
inherited that. It's my
Mm-hmm.
mom's fault because, I could never do anything right. And, she always
Mm-hmm.
wanted more. And whatever
Mm-hmm.
I had wasn't good enough. I mean, all
Right.
those things are fucking true. My dad was an alcoholic and that's how my
Sure.
mom was,
Right.
but that doesn't, I can't look back and be like, they chased me into the bottle.
Right.
It just makes me laugh to even think about it. But I don't know. It just as I was thinking about it, I'm like, maybe it shaped me a little bit until I had the opportunity, because I clouded my judgment anyhow,
Mm-hmm.
with alcohol for years,
Right.
and so I think that maybe some of those things were true until I truly, going back to what we were talking about before, found the gift of this program and the gift of recovery and the gift of taking responsibility for myself and
Mm-hmm.
trying to make a better person out of me, and obviously trying to make my little corner of the world a better place, right?
That's right.
But yeah, I have no desire whatsoever to sit there and I don't know. I mean, it would give me a fucking headache. And I can't even, I don't even understand how I had the fucking energy to try to blame people before, because
Right.
I blamed everyone for
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Yeah, of course. That's what we do. Right. Absolutely nothing is our fault. And yeah, and there's no fucking power in that, man. I have lack of control. That was our dilemma. I read that somewhere.
Right.
And yeah, it's absolutely true. Taking responsibility for everything gives me control. And I don't have that dilemma anymore.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It just what you always talk about, burning, get the calories,
Yep,
burning up those
exactly.
calories for
Mm.
all that shit. So this is another one that I was just kind of glancing. My eyes just caught this one as you were wrapping up there. Do you let this is from Keep It Simple? Do you let yourself be afraid of your illness? And then it said, you'd better. Many
Mm.
of us were scared into sobriety. Often a spiritual awakening directly follows a good scare.
Hmm.
Fear seems to improve our vision. So that's got a couple parts, but the same type of thing. Do you need me
Hmm.
to reread that or any part of it or no?
No,
Okay.
I got it right. Absolutely. Um, yes, I'm scared to fucking death of my disease, uh, and that's a very good thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, because the minute I'm not scared of it, that's first step shit, man. The minute I'm not scared of it, then I'll think I have some sort of power over it, and no, I don't, and then I'm
Right.
fucked. I can handle it. I can't. Yes, it is. It scares the hell out of me what it can do to me, what it has done to me, and what it will do to me if I allow it to again. So yeah, fear. Yeah, fear is a good motivator, man. I mean, we talk a lot about fear and stuff, and yes, we can't live in fear and all that good stuff, but having a healthy fear of things that we should be scared of is a very good thing, and it keeps us. It keeps me doing what I'm supposed to do because I don't. it scares me. I don't want that shit in my life anymore. So yes, fear, yeah, it's good, man. It gets you motivated. I mean, my favorite, um, one of my absolute favorite readings out of God Grant Me, which I used to do in groups, so I kind of have it in my head. It's a quote from Winnie the Pooh, and it's like, Piglet was scared. I'm paraphrasing, but Piglet was scared, and it made him get moving, basically, and that's just it. Yes, that scares me. I need to move away from it.
Right.
Yeah. Gets you into action, man. I'm scared. Okay, what do I need to do to get away from this fear, to get it out of my life, to yes, puts me into action. And this is a program of action. So fear is definitely a part of it.
Right. And you use the word us, and then you change the word to me. You can use us. You can speak for me in this. I'm right there with you.
Right.
But we had talked about, well, once again, less than a year ago, whatever it was. Maybe it was a year ago now, but time fucking flies. But on here, on this little podcast that we do, and
Mm-hmm.
that's when I had the revelation based on whatever we were talking about, probably something you said. Then I'm like, Jesus Christ, every one of my fucking problems is based in fear.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? And I'm, at that point, 13 plus years sober. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, everything. And I start thinking about it. And when, again, I'll say, quote unquote, when shit happens to me or things happen around me or whatever it is, or I react a certain way or I'm feeling a certain way, I'm
Right.
like, motherfucker, I might have to think about it for a minute,
Mm-hmm.
but I can find the fear.
Yep.
And even if it's something maybe I've got to stretch a little bit, I'm like, no, even though it's a stretch, that's where it's coming from. It's an offshoot of this other fucking thing, whatever it is. And yeah, you know what? The same thing. We were talking about something a few weeks ago, and I said it, kind of made my stomach upset thinking about it. You said good.
Right.
And it is. I mean, I am so grateful that I still have that feeling, to this
Mm-hmm.
day. Not only thinking about maybe something happened to somebody else, but even more importantly, being in a situation where I'm like, something's fucked up,
Right.
and I don't know what it is, but I got to go, or I got to fix it, or I got to, just back away from it. I got to
Mm-hmm.
change something, because something here is just not fucking right,
Right.
and having that, I don't know, people call it a sixth sense. I don't think it is. It's just in your head, what right and wrong is,
Right.
and when shit doesn't feel right,
Yeah. Yeah. When things are wrong.
Right.
And and so you either right that then it takes you to the fucking serenity prayer. Is it something I can do? Is it something that I can't do? And I need to know the fucking difference.
Right. Yeah, and again, back to the gifts, man. That's a gift that I hope never goes away, because you said that perfectly too. That if we're not afraid of this thing, this whole
Mm-hmm.
disease, that's the time we're like, ain't no
Right.
thing.
It's nothing. It's fine. I can right. And then I will convince myself, because I can justify and rationalize anything. I will convince myself that I can handle it again. Right. Like I handled it 14 and a half, 15 years ago. Right.
Right. Yeah.
I was handling it.
You were handling it, well. You were handling it depending on who was looking at it. You weren't handling it very well.
No, I was not.
Unless it was somebody that was right alongside you in the same circumstance. Like, hey, he only fell twice. I fell 3 times.
Right.
He's
Hey,
handling
I'm not as bad as he is.
Right. He got 2 black eyes. I only got 1. I'm in good shape.
Right.
So yeah, but it is fear. Fear's I like how you said that too. Fear's a good motivator, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's having a healthy fear. We don't want to
Yep.
be petrified by
No.
life or paralyzed by it, but yeah, nothing wrong with having a healthy fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna read this one. I don't even know what it says. From God Grant Me. It can't be too bad, right?
Right.
Right. Today I will think about my time and energy as the most important things I spend in my life. What do I invest my time and energy in, and what do I get back? Mike.
Right. um yeah, I invest my time and energy in, positive things. I try, whether it's, we've talked about it, whether it's fucking, sitting vegging out because I need to recharge my goddamn batteries, or, you know, uh, planting flowers in front of my house so the neighbors have something nice to look at because I'm looking at it maybe 10 minutes a day, maybe.
Right.
Um, yeah, that's, yeah. And I'm not wasting my time and energy on, again, that shit that I can't change, that shit that gives me that bad feeling in my stomach. All of that nonsense, everything, 90% of what I do today is positive, one way or another. I mean, it might, and it's little things, and it doesn't seem like it's much of anything. Again, sitting watching a baseball game, recharging my batteries so I have energy the next day to do what I need to do. That's positive. It's small and it's not earth changing, and fuck. First of all, I can't change the world. Second of all, I don't want to anymore.
Right.
Because again, it's a waste of fucking time. Just my little corner of it. So yeah, that's what I use, my time and those, that 20 minutes in the morning to get my head right, to go out into the day and not hurt people like I, want to.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Which is my nature. My nature is to, like I said earlier, stirring shit up. I don't do that anymore, but I need to take that time to step away from my nature.
Right. Well, and we had talked about that. I don't know whenever that was, a few weeks ago, with sitting around and again sitting around and doing what somebody might look at as doing nothing. Watching a baseball game, messing around social media, whatever the
Mm-hmm.
deal is. But that time is important because, I mean, granted, yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the readings too, because that's important time that you and I spend,
Mm-hmm.
and focus our energy on, for ourselves and for others. Because I don't
Mm-hmm.
think I know I'm not going to be good to myself, and
Right.
I'm sure as fuck probably going to be better to myself than I would to somebody else, at least to begin
Mm-hmm.
with. Because I mean, again, selfish and self-centered, right?
Yep.
Gonna go take it out on this motherfucker over there. Um, so that's time well spent. But yeah, every once in a while, just sitting and doing fucking nothing, recharging
Mm-hmm.
your batteries, getting yourself, mentally and physically in a. I mean, you got to think about it. If nothing else, think about how anyone, as a normal human being, feels. Not even hungover, but just not getting enough sleep or not eating
Mm-hmm.
right or anything like that. You just don't feel good.
Right.
And if you're tired, even as a non-sober individual, just a fucking normie out there, you're less likely to snap at somebody if you're tired.
Mm-hmm.
And if I mean, I've gotten to
Or
the
more
point where,
likely.
yeah, yeah, but so in eating too, I mean, I'd be a fucking fool not to eat on a regular basis because
Mm-hmm.
I get a headache, and if I get a headache, I want to fucking, I'm gonna yell at somebody.
Right.
It's nothing to do with the other person.
No.
But the thing of it is, and I don't even know what brought this up. If it was something I was watching, whatever the deal is, and I felt this way for a long time. I'm all about quality time, whether it be with, people. I mean, family and friends. Obviously spending
Mm-hmm.
time with you. You and I don't spend a lot of time together, but when we do, I consider it is quality time.
Yeah.
Even if we're doing nothing.
Right.
It's quality time. It's not necessarily the quantity. It is the quality. My kids, my family, all that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And really, when you think about it, I don't remember what crossed my mind or why this crossed my mind, but that's the that's one of the biggest gifts somebody can give you is their time,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
it's the one thing that you can never get back. If somebody chooses to actually spend their time with me,
Mm-hmm.
or I get that time, with somebody else, I mean, that's huge. That's better. I'd rather have that than somebody give me, well, I mean, I'll take $100, I guess, but
Eh,
given the choice,
right.
if I had the choice of spending an hour with my children or somebody gave me $100, I'd spend an hour with my kids,
Absolutely.
I mean, because you can't buy that. I can't buy that hour of time. I could never get that back, Again, whether you're just sitting there and doing nothing, it's just time spent with people that you love and care about,
Mm-hmm.
So But I mean, yeah, good point. I mean, even at work, even when people are trying to, fucking irritate us, maybe not trying to, but people
Mm.
crossing our paths
Mm-hmm.
and irritating us, I try to, keep my shit together because again, it's selfish, but that whatever energy that that I create inside myself, if it's a bunch of fucking negative energy throughout the day, I mean, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that with me when I'm done working.
Yep. Absolutely.
And even if I'm not around anyone that day, I'm gonna end up fucking up my night because I'm gonna start replaying all this fucking garbage in my head, and
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna take away. I'm gonna steal, I'm gonna steal time from myself, and I'm not willing to
Right.
do that today.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, not enough calories in this world, as you say, to waste them on stuff, right?
Exactly.
All right. From the 24-hour book. So again, one of the things that have been popping up more and more from them, or from that book. Since I came into AA, and I know the answer to this, but it says, "Am I getting better physically and mentally?" That I think that we can both agree that we've gotten better physically and mentally. But my question to that part of the reading was, how long before you, Mike,
Mm.
felt that you were getting better physically and mentally? This time in when you walked into the Keating Center,
Right.
obviously, and that sort of thing. How long do you think until you felt like you were getting physically and mentally better?
Um, I mean, physically, fairly quickly. Um, and then I went to work in that metal shop and beat the shit out of myself for a year and a half. But no, I mean, but it did, that made me get stronger too. So it was a bitch those first few weeks. Um, yeah, but I mean, mentally, 6 months to a year till I really started coming back. I mean, I talked about, Jesus, man, I was having trouble doing simple math.
Right.
At the end there, I mean, it was, I was getting fucking wet brain. I know I was.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, clearly it was, started getting better fairly fast, but yeah, fully getting my mental back, it was 9 months to a year till I was like, really, oh shit, I can think, and I can, back to like, when I was younger, when I could actually think about things and,
Right.
and put literally two and two together. Um, oh, this is this way, so that means this is this way. And yeah, it took a while because I was pretty fucking beat up.
Right. Yeah, and I mean the physical part of it. I mean, God, they fed us, and we had to
Sure.
eat, and I mean, I read something or heard something. It was in one of the readings or something that recently that talked about weight gaining weight. Oh no, it was a social media thing. I
Uh-huh.
was going to say it wouldn't have been in the reading. It was a social media thing. Like a question on there. Will you gain weight when you get sober type of thing, figuring that that's one of the things. And I'm like, my answer was, oh, I fucking hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, majority of people, not everyone, but I know I came in skinny as fuck because I wasn't,
Hmm.
and unhealthy, because
Right.
I wasn't eating. I was
Yeah.
drinking all my,
Yeah.
whatever money I could scrounge, it was going to
Hmm.
booze, not food, or
Yeah.
very little towards food.
Exactly.
Um, but I mean, shit, I think I gained 15 or 20 pounds in the first month and a half or something like
Hmm.
that. And it was good weight.
Right.
I mean, it was it was weight that I fucking needed. But yeah, the mental part, and I remember, I don't really remember, well, that's not true. So when the last company that I worked for, the one that I literally at that job from my interview to the last day I was there, um, I never drew a sober breath inside of that building,
Hmm.
and it was 7 months, and
Right.
never walked in there and wasn't under the influence. And the computer system that we used, it was really really confusing.
Hmm.
Kind of like keystroke one, not Windows based, all these different things back and forth. And I'm like, I couldn't. I mean, so much is like from logging in to getting into the different things. I had a lot of trouble with. I mean, a fucking lot.
Right.
The first company that I worked for out in Rocky River had the same system. I
Hmm.
learned it with no issues whatsoever.
Right.
I mean, none.
Yeah.
Fucking none. And I was like, it was at that point when I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, So I was almost going to say I didn't have a problem putting shit together, but that just reminded me of that. But at that same company in Rocky River, and it was probably easily probably 6 months if I remember correctly. I was well into the job, knew what I was doing, whatever the case was, and I was working a particular account, and I got to a point, whatever the next task was I had to do on this thing, I blanked. I couldn't figure it out. And I've been doing it
Mm-hmm.
for hundreds and hundreds of
Right.
times, probably thousands of times over that
Mm-hmm.
6 month period. And it was gone. And I'm
Yep.
like, I'm freaking out because I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Um, and it took about, 30 seconds to a minute for it to come back, but I couldn't, it was gone. It was fucking gone.
Right.
That freaked the shit out of me. And that was 6 months sober, I mean,
Yeah.
healthier me mentally, physically, all those sort of things. So, yeah, to your point, I forgot about that, what I just said there I
Mm-hmm.
didn't think about that right away, but easily, I know they say that a lot of people, it's 6 months to a year until it
Yeah.
really clears up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the way it was for me, and whatever. I'm getting old, so. But yeah, and truly being able to think and logically and truthfully and all of that. I mean, it's all a part of it, spiritually, if you want to go there. That's part of the process. I mean, I definitely think about things and look at things differently, far more clearly than I did, most of my life. Again, one of the gifts, but it took a while, because I mean, again, lying to myself, fucking delusional for years and years and years. I mean, that doesn't just snap back. I mean, I still, I was, whatever, 6 months sober and still very, hell, whatever, I'm almost 15 years sober and still capable of lying to myself and believing it. Uh, which is, that's a mental thing, man. That's not thinking clearly. So yeah, it's, I'm still working on it.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's and we talked about it plenty of times, that whatever the thing is, and I can't think of an exact example right now, but
Mm,
you're walking along through life, and whatever the next right thing is that you're supposed to do, if you're involved where you're like, well, I could cut this corner, I could lie about this, or I could be not
right.
involved in this, and that's the natural, the 100% natural reaction,
Mm-hmm.
is to take that mindset. I'm gonna lie, I'm gonna try to steal this, I'm gonna,
Mm-hmm.
I'm cut this corner, whatever the case is. I'm not going to pick up that garbage that I see on the ground that just fell,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case is, all those things. And it's crazy. It's once again, talking about we're always walking up that down escalator.
Yep.
Well, at least I know, again, for me, my mindset, I'm always a fucking gutter drunk, and I'm working all day
Mm-hmm.
every day, to try to crawl up out of the gutter every morning,
Yeah.
or go back to the ledge we talked about, at
Right.
right away in the morning we wake up and we're fucking tiptoes over this fucking ledge,
Yep.
this cliff, and we got to work every single day to get back, and then the next morning you wake up and there's the fucking cliff again.
Yep.
You're like, motherfucker,
The abyss.
I fixed you yesterday. Why are you back?
Right.
You fucking bastard.
Yep. That's it, man. Yeah, because that's our fucking nature. To thine own self be true, motherfucker. Yes,
Right.
that is who we are. We wake up on the edge of that goddamn cliff every fucking day.
Right. Okay, so another one from God Grant Me. One who makes no mistakes never makes anything.
Right.
Your answer is just right. Oh, okay.
Right. Well, yeah, that's when I used to do group, I used to talk about that all the time. I didn't want to fail, so I didn't do anything.
Right.
And in my head, I didn't fail. I didn't ever, because I wasn't doing anything. Today I fail all the time, and that's good. How the hell am I going to learn anything if I don't fail? If I'm not trying, if I'm not doing anything? So yes, I have to make mistakes, and then I have to look at them and go, "Fuck, I did that wrong." Okay, how do I do it right? And then, hopefully next time I'll do it right. But then I'll fuck something else up because I'm trying something new.
Well, yeah, I mean, unless you're some sort of, fucking phenomenon at something, it's, whether you pick up, a golf club like Tiger Woods or any
Right.
one of these, fucking star athletes or a painter or whatever the case is. And, or you're a literary genius or just a magician on a guitar or some sort of instrument.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the most of the people that you see up there that you're like, God, that person's really good at that. They weren't that way to begin with.
No, nobody was.
Yeah, it's like, well, of course, when people look at us and like, God damn, those guys are really sober, because that happens all the
Yeah,
time.
all the time. Jesus Christ, that guy's sober.
God, I've never seen somebody so sober. Holy shit! How does he do it?
That's right. I was walking through Walmart the other day, and people were just falling left and right. Oh my God, look how sober he is.
But even, I mean, I guess on a serious note, the fact that the things that we can do today and the things that we can, and I'll use this term lightly, that we can handle,
Mm-hmm.
just the life that we're able to, the lives that we're able to live,
Right.
it sure as fuck didn't happen overnight.
No, it did not.
Not even fucking close to happening overnight, right?
No, well, it's still happening.
Right. Yeah. Which, I mean, that's the way it should be. I mean, it's in the whole
Mm-hmm.
thing. This thing is it's a journey, not a destination, which is a cliche statement, but
Right.
it's fucking true.
Yep.
And we've said it before on here, but the minute, and I think I'm going to speak for both of us at this point. I
Mm-hmm.
think we're on the same page. But the minute that either one of us thinks that, hey, we're cool, or we got this, or
Yep.
we're done, we don't need to learn anymore, we're fucking finished. Yeah, we're
Yep.
finished. All right.
Yep.
Okay, this is it, right? I've reached the end of the internet.
Yes. Reached the end of the universe.
I've reached the end of the sobriety path. What now?
Yes.
Nothing. Just enjoy. Just
Yeah.
fucking enjoy. That's all you gotta do. Just enjoy. Don't do anything
Sure.
else.
Mm.
Just enjoy. All right. So, hang on one second. I'm gonna try to read back. I take one from way. I have no idea what this one talks about either. But okay. So this is probably from a long time ago, and I didn't read this. So let's just see what it is. From God Grant Me. Today, I will do 3 actions to help someone else's day go better.
Mm-hmm.
I will do them in secret to make sure I'm not doing them to feed my ego. So
Right.
that actually turns out to be a fairly decent one because I've got a couple of questions here. So you've talked about that on a number of occasions. So I
That's
mean,
how I finish this podcast every week.
right. So that's what I was going to say. I'm going to let you would start anyhow, but go ahead, Mike.
Well, yeah, I mean, just God, man, and it just comes down to doing the next right thing. It really fucking does. Yeah, just do something for somebody and fucking don't tell anybody about it, because right, we can't do it to feed our ego. We can't do it to look at me, look how fucking wonderful I am, because I'm not. I know that. I'm
Right.
not fucking wonderful. I'm just doing little things to, help the next person on this little one-way trip that we're on. Yeah, fuck. And I don't know. Does it make a difference? I don't know. It does to me. I think it does to other people, and I don't even fucking care if it does to other people. I just know that it makes me feel a little bit better because I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and I think it probably makes somebody's life a little better. I don't know, man. I'm still gonna keep doing it. It doesn't
Right.
matter. It doesn't fucking matter. It's just I just do it because it's the right thing to fucking do.
Well, and I think it in the same thing that goes back to what we were talking about not only earlier, in this thing tonight, but as far as the doing something that has a positive effect on us, I think inadvertently is going to have a positive effect on somebody else. But worst case scenario, our side of the street's clean. We're doing things. We're helping us. We're doing these things to continue ourselves along again this path that we're on,
Uh-huh.
and then the end result is yes, we it's the next right thing. It makes our quarter of the world a better place, and blah blah blah. And I'm going to say that yes, it has an effect on people. I think these days, especially because um, with his, this is still kind of crazy to me and it just kind of crossed my mind, but in a society full of everyone's the softer side and everyone's a winner and all these different things. People are still not even still. People have no fucking manners anymore. Okay,
Right.
people don't say please and thank you. People don't hold doors for each other anymore. People don't have these old school manners anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're a younger individual listening to us, yeah, we're a couple old fucks, but this is a fact. This is nothing, we're not going to do a back in our day type of thing. These are fundamental life things of just being like we talk about all the time, just being a good human being. We talked
Right.
about opening the doors. We talked about smiling at somebody. We've talked about, helping somebody if we can. I mean, yeah, I told the story about grabbing the Kleenex for the lady. It was just fucking funny because I told her I could have sat back and just watched her fall.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would bet when I'm out in the world like that, there's got to be. I mean, there's probably at least three things. If I'm out for a full day doing stuff, whether it's traveling or whatever, there's
Mm-hmm.
probably there's a lot more than three things that I have interactions with people
Right.
where I do something that I didn't have to do, but I don't even think about it.
Right.
Again, holding a door, letting somebody walk in front of me, grabbing
Mm-hmm.
something for somebody, again, saying hi, doing whatever the case is. I remember and this was, God, it was probably, easily a handful of years ago, if not longer than that. Um, I had the same thing. I was walking into a gas station, and I stopped and held a door, and it was just this random lady. It wasn't like, ooh, it's a hot chick coming. I'm gonna hold the door for
Right.
her. Again, no selfish motive involved because I've done that. I've done that too.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
just being honest. But so random individual held the door and the person just like, you know what? Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And
Mm-hmm.
it was sincere, but it was almost like, God damn, nobody does this anymore.
Right.
And I'm in my head, it kind of made me laugh because I'm like, I didn't do anything out of the ordinary, but then it clicked. Nobody fucking does these things anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say nobody, but I just think
Right.
there's just these little things like this. I just don't think people realize how important they are.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I'm in the store shopping, and I'm like going over to look at something. I make sure I fucking push my cart over to the side so that it's not in the
Yes.
way of people. Right. Right. And how many people don't do that? They just fucking let it sit in the middle of the damn aisle and they're, standing off to the side. They're standing at the side of the cart so that you can't even get around them.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, fuck, man, have a little spatial awareness. Know that you're not the only goddamn person in the world.
Right.
Other people are trying to get around and do their shit too, man. Okay. Now, hey, here's the downside of being a productive member of society. I got a fucking jury duty summons.
Oh, did
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. I actually, well, Monday's a holiday, right? Martin Luther King Day. But I had to call today to see if they needed me for Tuesday. They don't. So I have to call on Tuesday to see if they need me for Wednesday. Jesus Christ, man. Yeah. So I'm dealing with that. It's all fine.
Yeah, you and I were talking about that last week because we were, and that was the thing I was going to say is a before, and I forgot, but I'm glad you brought that up because, yeah, as a side note programming note that this next week
Right.
Thursday is when we were looking at recording, but just let me know, we'll figure it out one way or the other.
Yeah. Right. I mean, supposedly I'll be done by 5:00, but I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I called, and cause I had to call today to see about Tuesday. There was a recording that said there's no trials scheduled. Call Tuesday to find out about Wednesday. I was like, fuck, man, just give me a goddamn answer. Tell me to show up. I'll show up. Tell me you don't need me and I will move on with my life.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I once again, and I think I told you this, but I'll say it on here, and I have not I've not tried to hide from anyone at
Mm-hmm.
any point. Even again during my drinking days, I was on paper fucking everywhere.
Right.
Um, I've never been called for jury duty, and I don't believe in jinxes or anything like that. It's just a fact of fucking life. To this point, I am not yet.
Yep.
You know.
Right.
And same thing, Mike and I were talking about that. I'm like, at this point, if I get fucking called for jury duty, it's going to be in Wisconsin because I
Mhm.
am, even though I'm all over the fucking place,
Right.
I'm a Wisconsin resident.
Right.
that would fuck up my life, but you know what? Again, I will burn that bridge when I come to it. But
Right.
so, just let me know. We'll figure it out one way or the other. You know what? At some point, and I'm just going to say this because it hasn't happened yet, but at some point, there's going to be a time when some weird shit's going to happen where we're not going to be able to record one week. And if that
Mhm.
happens, that fucking happens. And we've
Right.
done tonight, this is 152 episodes.
Yep.
If we can't record this week because Mike is in jury duty and I've got to take a friend to the airport on Friday and I'm
Right.
driving for, I'm driving someplace on
Mhm.
Saturday, then we're not going to fucking record this week. But, hey, who knows? We'll do I don't know, I'll rerun an episode or something like that, repost
Right.
an episode, but we'll figure it out.
Mhm.
But back real quick, can I bitch some more? I want to bitch with you on the shopping cart thing
Okay.
because I think everyone's been in a Walmart, right? Raise your hand. Thank you. We've
Yeah.
all been in a fucking
Right.
Walmart. Even the smallest of aisles, you could at least fit a Prius through. Okay.
Right.
But most of the aisles, you could literally fit one of your trucks through, like the main aisles up by the registers and all that stuff. There are times when I walk into a Walmart, go to the left, to go to the pharmacy or the food side, whichever side I'm going to,
Right.
and I can't get around people into one of those fucking Freightliner,
Uh-huh.
aisles. I'm like, what the fuck? But everyone, hardly anyone goes off to the side. Again, pushing your cart, and here's the deal. Cart will always be on the left-hand side. Person standing there with their big fucking ass up in the air, looking down, reaching something on the right-hand side. And I'm like, okay, your cart's on the wrong side to begin with.
Right.
You'd be fine if your cart was on the right side. You and your big ass wouldn't be in my way. I could
Mhm.
go around you. I've gone down aisles before and looked and went, fuck me, I'll go back the other way and walk
Yep.
around.
Yep.
I hate people when it comes. I'm sorry. Let me take that back. I am not even close to being fond of people that do that. And it
Mhm.
happens every time. It happens in Walmart, Aldi, any of the individual grocery stores I go into. It happens everywhere in the country also. I haven't been everywhere in the country, but
Mm.
every place that I've been
Yep.
in my travels, I go grocery shopping every fucking weekend, every time.
Yep.
I hate it. I don't
Yeah.
like it.
I know.
I don't like it. God damn it. All right. Hang on one second here. You want to end on a happy note, a musical note?
All right.
Ha
Aha. A C major. Go ahead.
ha. All right. So, I saw an article, and the article was entitled. Give me one second. Speaking of
Mhm.
entitled, haha.
Aha.
Top 10 best rock bands of all time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a list of more than 10. Okay.
All right.
But let's go back, and we don't necessarily have to read all. What the fuck, man? I thought that this. Oh, there we go. I'm like, where is number? I'm like, where the fuck is number 10? Okay, let's at least go to. Let's at least go
So
10.
okay, who's this according to?
It is. It's a website called the Top Tens.
Okay.
Okay, and I
Right.
don't think you'll be. I don't think you'll be disappointed with most of these. And
Mm.
I think I know you well enough. Okay, so the number 10, Guns N' Roses. Okay.
Eh. Mm. They had one good album. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. And the album that they have, I think it was what was the album? The one
Appetite for Destruction.
that's what I was gonna say. I was like, I was about to say it, but I'm like, that didn't sound right. But yeah, I think that's the one. That's actually the picture of the one on here.
All right.
Pick any band that you think might be in the top 10. Let's start with that. Then I'll let you guess who you might think number one, even number two might be.
I mean, Beatles, Stones.
Okay, so let's go with Rolling Stones, number 6. Beatles,
Uh-huh.
number 2.
Uh-huh.
Pick one more.
Zeppelin.
Number 1.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yes, no?
Well, no, but I mean, great band, blah 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 blah, but no.
Okay. Beatles number 2, I didn't think you would be completely upset with because I know you like
No.
the Beatles.
Yeah.
Metallica's listed as number 5. Again, Stones are
Mm.
6. AC/DC 7.
Mm.
Nirvana 8.
Mm.
The Who 9.
Mm.
Let's get into where was Black Sabbath is 11.
Yeah.
Do you like? I was going to ask you that at some point. Rush fan or no? Ever?
I mean, I appreciate what they do, but I'm not going to go buy anything from them.
Okay, I didn't know they're number 12. I just didn't.
Okay.
I was thinking about that. Chili Peppers 16. I can't think. I'll just find another band that I know you already made fun of at one point. U2 is number 20.
Ugh.
And you weren't a Doors fan either. So Van Halen 22.
Yeah, it's a shit list.
Yeah, and I didn't think that the Led Zeppelin thing. I guess I knew you like Led Zeppelin, but I just didn't know if
Yeah.
that was
Not,
again based
not the
on.
greatest fucking rock band ever.
Yeah, and it's a website called the Top Tens is all that it is. It's
All
nothing.
right.
Just
Yeah,
one
yeah,
that I came across.
I mean,
but,
lists are shit anyway because it's all
right.
subjective and blah blah blah. But yeah, all right, whatever.
Yeah, and that's the thing that if I run across these because I think that it's funny. And speaking of remember the alcohol things I was telling you about, I had the last week or so since you and I had talked, whatever it was, a couple weeks ago when I said that I was starting to get the liquor and beer ads.
Mm-hmm.
I had another beer one, another booze one. I'm like, Jesus Christ! So I think it's done now. I think the last one was like towards the end of last weekend, but I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, yeah, literally wrong crowd there, guys.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, I get these things on Google because I think depending on it's got to be some of the searches I do, or maybe just music
Sure.
I listen to, or through I don't know however it comes up.
Oh, you're one of those degenerate rock and rollers. Let's give them some vodka.
No, but I mean like the rock and roll stuff because I get a lot of these musical articles on Google, and
Mm-hmm.
I think the Google itself is usually based on your searches. Like I get a
Right.
ton of national parks, hiking,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful sceneries, areas, and all that stuff. For the last year, I've gotten, and I know why, because I'm on all trails and I'm on all these different things and
Mm-hmm.
doing searches for them. But the booze ads that I looked up the DUI story.
Right.
But I mean, no, it's not the first one. You and I when I find funny drug stories, I do pull them up. So.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just the thing is like, oh, this dude's looking up DUI shit. Let's grab him a fucking bottle.
That's right.
So, but no, I don't know. I just I thought that was kind of fun. I wasn't. So if you had to, I guess let's. I'm not make a complete list, but who do you think would be in your top 3 all time rock bands?
I can't even. No, I can't do that. I mean, clearly the Alice Cooper group. God, man, the Ramones. I mean, yeah, there's tons, and it's all subjective, and you go categories. I mean, I can't just,
Right.
which, Sabbath and fucking, there's millions of them. I can't pick a top 3. Depends on my fucking mood.
Okay.
I mean, there's times where I'll listen to, I mean, fuck. Okay. America, Horse with No Fucking Name. Right. I love that goddamn band,
Right.
but I gotta be in the mood for them.
Right.
I mean, one of my first was the Osmonds when
Right.
I was like really young. A friend of mine posted this girl that was in a band a million years ago, and she's been in bands forever. And she posted something about the Osmonds' Crazy Horses, right?
Right.
She's all, how did I not know this song? This goddamn Osmonds doing a metal song. And I'm like, yeah, right. I've known that song since I was 5 years old. Wayne just died like last week. Yeah. So, that's kind of been in the algorithm out there. Yeah, no, I fucking love the Osmonds, man. One bad apple, motherfucker. Yeah, that was one of my first favorite bands. Whatever. I can't make a list. I don't want to make a list.
I was I was actually I was curious, and I got more information by asking that, and have you
right.
going into that. I'm glad that you explained it that way, and I agree with you. Well, little side note here. I just heard that Osmond song
Mhm.
right after Wayne died, because talked about him on the morning show.
Right.
And Bob, one of the guys, he goes, they played like this medley. They sounded like a Led Zeppelin type of,
Yeah.
and
Right.
then they found it and played it. I'd never heard it before. So I know the song just because literally I heard it just the other day when the dude died. It was Wayne. Wayne,
Yeah.
you said? Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
But you know what? And here's the thing when it comes to music. I do have a type. A
Mhm.
lot of it's alternative, easily from the early 90s to the mid 2000s. Almost
Right.
anything in there that's alternative, a Nirvana, a Foo Fighters, a Soundgarden, a Audio Slave. That's an easy way. I mean, all those, any band that you could lump into that, I'm gonna like,
Right. Mhm.
But there are songs that'll pop up that remind me of my mom when we were kids. It reminded me of my
Right.
dad.
Mhm.
Simon and Garfunkel, the song "Baby Driver." He used to play that in our basement when we lived in Parma. You know, and I was 6, maybe.
Right. Right.
And this is before surround sound. Did you know that song at the end was "Vroom, vroom, vroom," and then runs that car? I
Yep.
mean, if you had a true surround sound system, that would sound fucking awesome.
Mhm.
He had this. He built it was a kit from this company called Heath Kit. Okay.
Yeah. I remember 'em.
Oh, so
Right.
okay. So he built a stereo and he
Mhm.
built a console TV with a remote control. Okay.
Ooh.
And this was the fucking 70s,
Right.
74,
Mhm.
75 probably.
Right.
Um but he had this whole stereo system that he built with these speakers. He used to play Simon and Garfunkel, and that to this day, that's one of my favorite Simon and Garfunkel songs.
Right.
I'll listen to it; it'll pop up, and they were talking. Paul Simon got interviewed by Smartless or whatever, so I did a whole Paul Simon thing, and I must have played Baby Driver like 7 times while I was driving.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of sitting in the basement, and my dad would turn it up so loud, and it did. It sounded like a car was driving through our basement. It was fucking awesome.
Nice.
But yeah, I know what you mean. I have that thing too. I've got a softer and weirder taste in
Mhm.
music than you do,
Mhm.
and I know I do. So I
Mhm.
remember along the along the lines, I bring up something, you're like, "You like that?" I'm like, I call it location music. It reminds me
Right.
of a person, or a place or time in my life. And
Yeah,
I'll like a
absolutely.
song. And it could be a fucking, Hodoken or Hodoken country song, whatever, backwoods
Mhm.
country song to,
Right.
rap music to, stuff, girly pop,
Right.
all of it, and it
Yeah.
just reminds me of, again, a person, a place, or a time in my life.
Yep.
So
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's your fucking top 10 list.
no, I like it. Our conversation was far better than that list. I'm
Oh
ashamed
yeah.
of. I'm ashamed. No, I'm not. I'm glad I brought up the shitty list because it brought along a better conversation between us.
Right.
We're better than that fucking list. So fuck you,
Oh
list.
yeah. That's easy. That's a real fucking low bar there.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, the place that I have my desk set up,
Mhm.
it's in it's in one of the bedrooms, and it's like this small area that I have it set up, and I can open the drapes and look out in the backyard while I'm working, which I like. I try to do that while I'm
Mhm.
wherever I set stuff up. But right next to me, to my left, there's a built-in desk, and I don't know why they would put a fucking mirror right by a built-in desk.
Mm.
But this entire time, and while I'm working too, to the left of me, I see myself all the time. So I'm sitting there working every once in a while. I look over. It's like, you see something out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, it's
Right.
me. So I'm just giving myself stupid looks, going, you fucker. I'm fighting with myself in the mirror. So
That sounds like some old behavior to me.
yeah, I know. It is what it is. It's fun. So I just flip myself off. Fuck you, motherfucker.
Nice.
All right, man. All right, now that I'm slipping into psychosis, you want to close this thing out?
Yes, I do. Well, thank you everyone for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. As always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, go out and do something nice for somebody else this week, and don't tell anybody you did it. Now, from the bottom of my heart to the depths of my soul, from the beginning of time till the ends of the earth, always and eternally, fuck you. And now it's time, kids. It's time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream your fucking impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.
You know what? It just occurred to me that as you're closing out, you want to talk about, like, I don't know, almost like a mood swing. You're telling somebody, do something nice. Fuck you. Fuck
Yep.
off.
Yep.
That's the 3 stages of the closing of our podcast, which I think
is.
I don't know why this just popped into my head. I'm like, you talk about mood swings, man. That's it right there. But I like
Hi.
that. Hi there, I'm Mood Swings.
Hi, I'm Mood and I'm Swings.
Welcome to our podcast. All right, man. So
Mood and Swings in the morning.
Mood. How would mood be spelled? Just M-O-O-D? Would you have to like M-U-D-E or something like Mude?
I don't know. It depends. Are you Mood or are you Swings?
I probably fuck. I don't know. Well, you know
well,
what?
tune in next week and find out who's Mood and who's Swings.
When I introduce us, I never use my name first in posts or anything like that. I always say Mike and Bill because I think that speaking as the person who's writing it, I don't know that I've learned that, but I never say myself first. Hey, this is Bill and Mike. It's Mike and Bill. All the time. So I think naturally you would be Mood, I would be Swings.
All righty. Hi, I'm Mood.
I'm Swings.
Hey, welcome to our show. Wait, we're done.
We have to remember that. We gotta introduce next week, Mood and Swings.
Uh-huh.
All right, man. On that note, I love you, brother.
I love you too.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
And now it is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.